So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. Ooh, baby, I get the distinct pleasure of interviewing so many amazing entrepreneurs from all over the world. Have been doing it on this particular show for going over 3 years now. And I'm so blessed because as the host of the show, I get to learn the most of anyone, unless you're watching every show that we put on. It has been amazing, a great journey, and we have no plans to stop at all, not even anytime soon. And part of the reason why is because of guests like Andrea Isaacs, who is coming on here in just a moment. I kid you not, she is an amazing bundle of energy and joy, and I truly know that you're going to enjoy her. And we'll get to her in just a moment. Before we do the Mind, Body, Business Show, real quick, it is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And my goal, my mission for this show is to bring on successful entrepreneurs that when they talk and they give their value, they give their secrets to success, then all you need to do is simply take notes and model, or a fancy word for copy, and copy their success. And that's the beautiful thing. Every person I've ever interviewed on this show is absolutely fine with you copying them. You take what you get from them that would work for you and implement it in your life and become successful much faster than trying to reinvent it for yourself from scratch. And the Mind, Body, Business Show is about what I call the 3 pillars of success. Over the course of probably a decade or more of studying only successful people, and to me that meant people more successful than I was, I found 3 things kept coming to the top. One was mind, and that meant to a person, each of these successful individuals had a very powerful and, even more importantly, a very flexible mindset. And then body. They literally took care of their physical body. I found that very interesting, both from an exercise standpoint and also from a nutrition standpoint. And then business. Business is multifaceted, and there are so many skill sets that one must master to build a successful business and then to grow it, even to be more successful. Many skill sets like sales, marketing, team building, leadership, systematizing. I could go on for a while. The good news is you don't have to master every single skill set yourself. Yes, it's important to master one or a few. In fact, if you just mastered one skill set, then the rest could fall into place much more easily. And that is the skill set of leadership. And you might say, Brian, I don't have any employees yet. I'm just my own person. That's okay. Start working on leading yourself as if you are leading the company. And you can always be a leader and develop your leadership skills, read books on leadership and develop that skill. And then all of the others, you can then delegate to those who have mastered those skill sets. So it's a wonderful approach. And it takes less time to get to that point of business mastery overall. It doesn't have to be you by yourself. Get the help you need. And another wonderful artifact of very successful people that I found is, to a person, they are all very avid readers of books. And with that, I like to very briefly segue into a quick segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
There you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And a real quick word of advice. And yes, Andrea Isaacs is in the wings waiting. She's coming on in just a second, I promise. Real quick word of advice is, as we go along through this show, I know Andrea is going to be dropping some serious knowledge bombs of wisdom, smart bombs throughout the show. And some of those will be in the form of resources like websites. Rather than succumb to that urge to click away and go look at these resources, I would implore of you instead to take notes, write them down, and then visit them after the show's over. And the reason I say that is because over the years of speaking from stage, many times I would be getting to that point where I know it's the most impactful part of the presentation. And at that moment, I would see someone get up and leave the room because they had to go to the restroom or take that important call. The point is they got distracted and they missed out on what could have changed their life forever. And I don't want that to happen for you. I know Andrea is going to have some amazing, amazing nuggets of wisdom, and I don't want you to miss a single one because you went off clicking. All right. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com, write that down, and then visit it after the show's over. I'm off my soapbox. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com is a site that I had put together specifically with you, the entrepreneur looking to gather and gain more success in your life. And what I did was I started compiling books that I had personally read. I hadn't read hardly at all until age 47. I'm 57 at the time of this live video. And I began reading voraciously using Audible, listening to books. And I just took notes and said, these are the books that had a profound impact on my life personally and or in business. And so I began adding them to this website. That's the only reason they're here, is because they had profound impact. So you have a resource now at your beck and call that you can go to and know that at least one other successful entrepreneur has vetted these books. So it reduces the chance for you wasting your time. That is the bottom line for this. Is about efficiency. There's no rhyme or reason to how these books are in this library. They're not alphabetized. They're not by author. You'll just scroll and find the first one that really talks to you that you haven't read yet, and just go read it. And you don't need to read it. Get it from this website. Go to Amazon, wherever. This actually goes to Amazon when you click the buy now button. It's not for making money necessarily. It's here just to provide you a quick resource to get some great information and feed your brain the knowledge it desires and deserves. Speaking of desiring and deserving, I know you all desire and deserve to see Andrea Isaacs. So I think it's time to bring her on. What do you say we do that? Let's do it right now. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
It is the one. It is the only Andrea Isaacs.
I love your library. I love that. Yeah, and I love your intro. That was so much fun.
We're not done yet, because I need to introduce you formally and officially. Before I do that, real quick, Andrea, I hope you don't mind, a couple of housekeeping items. I want to first mention that nice red and white logo right above your beautiful red dress called The Big Insider Secrets. They are the sponsors of this show. And for everyone who stays with us live until the very end, we're going to show you how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Again, compliments of thebiginsidersecrets.com. My good friend Jason Nast. Their company, they provided this for us to give away every single week. It's phenomenal. It's amazing. And you want to stick around for that. And then just 2 more, and we're going to get back to the woman of the hour. And so if you are struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people like Andrea Isaacs and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components of the Carpet Bomb Marketing program is that it's one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. And it's the very service we use right now here on this show to stream our live shows on the Mind Body Business Show. Now, over the course of the past, it's been 10 years now. I've tried so many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming video shows. And I'll tell you right now, StreamYard is the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use along with unmatched functionality. For those of you watching, you see the URL on the screen. Go ahead and write this down. Don't go there now. It's ryp.im/streamlive. All lowercase, no spaces, ryp.im/streamlive. Write that down. And then after the show, you can go grab your free account and start streaming live and very high quality live professional looking shows for free with StreamYard right away. All right, that's it. We're going to bring the woman of the hour back on screen. Here she comes. and we are going to give her the introduction she deserves. What do you think about that? Yeah, let's do that. Andrea Isaacs, founder of the Emotional Mastery Institute, has been teaching people around the world for 28 years how to have a choice in their emotions. Oh, I love this already. This leads to respectful communication, quality relationships, and a meaningful, happy life. That's what we all want, isn't it? Her clients include senior leaders and soulful entrepreneurs who are changing the world. She helps them clarify their zone of genius, any whammies that are in the way, and how to shift them so they have abundance and joy in their relationships, creativity, and success. With that, officially and formally, I welcome to this show the wonderful, the amazing Andrea Isaacs. How are you doing?
I'm so happy to be here with you, Brian. I'm so looking forward to our conversation.
Me too. I love what I get to do because I get to meet and get to know wonderful and amazing people like you. We got some time to get to know each other right before the show. I love that part of it. And I love this part because when we first get going, what I love to do, Andrea, what I love to do, because mind, in my humble opinion, is the cornerstone, the foundation of every one of our either success or lack thereof. And it's all about what's going up between our little ears here. I want to find out what is going on in your beautiful brain when you get up in the morning. When you get up in the morning and being an entrepreneur, not every day is perfect. There are some days where you have arduous tasks that are looming. There are times when you have clients that you don't really want to deal with. There are lots of things. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. But with that, for you, Andrea, what is going on in that beautiful brain of yours that keeps you motivated, keeps you positive, keeps you driven day in and day out?
Sure. Well, the first is where am I? I'm in my bed. A question. It's usually a question or a state of being. Like, who? I like this question. First thing, who's the me I want to be? And I wait until there's a way of being. Like maybe there's a particular challenge I'm about to do, or something I want to be sure I accomplish in that day, or a phone call that's really important, or how I would feel when all of that happens. I want to be in alignment with that today. And so I work a lot with embodiment, and I do that with words and language. We'll talk more about that. But I'll imprint the outcome of the day, the feeling of joy or fulfillment or satisfaction that I want to accomplish.
I love that. I love that.
An intention for the day.
Intention for the day. Yeah. And how important is it to you, Andrea? How important is it to you to have that correct mindset to start every day? Not just to start it, but to keep it going in a positive, impactful way throughout the day, every single day, and every moment of your life.
That's exactly it. It is every moment of your life, because wherever your mindset goes is what you manifest. I had this sort of a tweak on a phrase that I'm sure you've heard. Well, maybe not. It's very familiar in my world. When I used to ride horses, if you're going this way on a trail or something and your head goes like this, where do you think the horse goes? Down the trail like this? No, your head goes like this and the horse goes like this. And suddenly the trail's over there. Like, well, my horse is wrong. Like, what's my horse doing? Your life goes where your nose goes. And it's a tweak on a phrase from a neuroscientist whose work I just really love. He said this: your brain takes the shape of what you rest your mind on. This is mindset. Your brain takes the shape of what you rest your mind on. And then he offered this beautiful metaphor. Imagine I have a cloth and I drape it over a toaster. It takes the shape of that toaster. I take the same cloth and I drape it over a coffee pot or a blender. It takes the shape of the coffee pot or the blender. So what we focus on, this is the law of attraction. We all know that. But I love how he said it. And that is mindset. And mindset manifests every moment of every day. And if you don't like how you're going, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, or what's happening, it's time to make a different choice. Mindset will set the tone.
Your mindset, I love it. Your mindset manifests every moment of your day. You know what's coming, don't you, Andrea?
Oh, that's awesome.
Smart bombs of wisdom, bombs of knowledge. That is what Andrea Isaacs is all about. Wow, that was an early bomb drop too. That doesn't happen that quickly most often on the show.
That's the first half of that thought, because there's a second part of that. It's when you add the body. Because say What's an example of, here's a challenge I see in the entrepreneurs and leaders I work with. Sometimes they'll get a message if they want to build a bigger dream or shift into something they hadn't done before. They'll feel like, oh, I don't know enough, or I'm not enough, or is that too big for me? I don't know enough. And it's usually an old pattern in life that when you're ready to break into something bigger, starts to show up. I call that a whammy. It shows up and it stops you. And so to change that message, we all have that inner voice in our head that says something to you. Often it criticizes you. Unfortunately, we call it the inner critic because it usually criticizes. So a mindset shift would be something like of the voice that says, you know enough, you are enough. And then you embody it. I know enough, I am enough. And if you feel that in your body, the words are like affirmations. However, when you feel, oh, receive this message. What if I say, Brian, you are enough. You know enough. You are enough. And if you feel that in your body and then you own it and you say it with the I am enough. It makes you feel, I kind of puff up a little bit. Like I feel good about myself. I know enough. Oh, I can ready. I'm go. This is a mindset shift when you get stuck. There are different reasons different people get stuck, but this is one example. To set your mindset for how you want to be. And sometimes it's not easy because it means we have to change a pattern, a way of being.
Well, yeah, I mean, our whole young life, we are told no how many times, and we are told things that don't empower us. And as we get older, it's less of complimentary language and it's more of discerning language where, when you're a young little kid, everyone's lifting you up and saying, you're such a good boy, you're such a good girl. Then when you get as an adult, they're like, man, what is wrong with you? And they're smacking you with their words, right? And it just beats you down after a while. And it's human nature. And yeah, when you get told something that you just said positively, you said, when you just said that to me, and I know it wasn't directed right at me, but it felt good. And it tells me that isn't done very often anymore, unfortunately, in adult life, I should say. And I saw a couple of your YouTube videos where you're actually doing that and demonstrating it. So I hope folks will look up Andrea Isaacs on YouTube, and she does a few of these like exercises. And I love how you did it. You're so animated. It's authentic. You have passion, you have meaning behind it. And that's how I can tell that it gets the results for you that I know that you can get for the people you work with as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you looked at those clips. I embody these phrases so that it's, instead of just being an affirmation, you are actually creating a neural pathway. You're creating a neural pathway for a way of being, which changes your brain. And it changes the energy in your body. It changes how you think and how you feel and how you show up. And when we come into this world, as infants, we don't know yet how to be or what to expect from the world or from mom and dad or how we should show up. And so the way we're treated, the messages we get, and I know you know this is like NLP stuff that get placed in our brains early on. We go, oh, okay, there's no time for me. And all right, I'm disappointed. And the next time it happens, you realize, oh, I'm even more disappointed. I better learn not to want. This is actually an interesting challenge for people who are either shifting or pivoting in their business, or they're retiring, or they just know something's missing and don't know what it is. And it's not uncommon. When we live our lives in a way with what people expect us to do, or be, we forget, we smother, we dampen down what we want. And I just had a call with a client this morning who said, had a successful career for 30 some years. He's retired and he doesn't know what is next. Like, what is there? Well, that voice was dampened down because the neural pathway for what I want doesn't matter. There's no time for what I want. That neural pathway gets really strong, just like when you go to a gym and you lift weights and you repeat the rep, you do your reps and your muscles get bigger and stronger. That neural pathway got trained and strengthened, just like muscles get trained and strengthened. And so years later, now that he's lived a life of others' expectations and he has time for what he wants to do, what is it? So we did a process that was really beautiful. Often there's a healing of that original wound, which has to heal before you can create the neural pathway for what you want next. Because when it's difficult to really like know what you want and ask for what you want and let yourself receive it, those are all neural pathways that you can train. But if you never trained that neural pathway, you won't be able to be receptive or to know what you want.
I love it. I love it. Let yourself receive it. I love that right there. I used to be in the fitness industry as a certified personal trainer. And, one thing I found out, and I found this out, we all know this intellectually, that we as human beings oftentimes beat ourselves up more than others beat us up. By our internal language, even external sometimes. And isn't it time to stop doing that and beating ourselves up? And I would say oftentimes, so I'd say, hey, part of this regiment will be, as an example, we're going to do 10 push-ups. They would get 5 done, and then they would start, oh my gosh, and start beating themselves up verbally to me. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Well, I didn't do all 10. I said, so why is that a big deal? Well, I didn't win. I didn't get all the way to the end. I said, look, instead of kicking yourself in the butt for the reps you didn't do, rather instead, how about reaching up your hand, turn it backwards, reach behind your back, and pat yourself on the back for the reps you did do. You did everything you could. That's all you could do at the moment. Maybe down the road in a few weeks or months, you'll get to the 10. Don't worry about that. Keep doing the best you can do now and be okay with it. Not only just be okay, but celebrate it is what
acknowledge what you do. Don't focus on what you don't do, because then you feel like, that's a neural pathway that you strengthen. Focus on what you do and to acknowledge it. And it lights you up. It feeds your passion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jessica Bennett, thank you for commenting. This is so interesting about training, but needing to be receptive. Yes. Thank you.
I have a 5-step process about the art of receiving. Would you like to hear it?
Let's do it. 5 steps. Everybody get out your pens, notebook. Go.
5 steps to the art of receiving. Well, when what you want has been dampened down over years of doing what others want, and you don't hear the voice, you don't know what it is. So you can't receive. And then what happens if we don't learn how to receive is we get resentful that others aren't there for us. So the first step is we have to uncover all those years of dampening down. And the first step is asking yourself, what do I need? And you may not be able, may not be able to articulate it. If you're ever resentful that someone's not there supporting you, helping you, doing something for you, whatever it is you want isn't happening, ask yourself what I want. Actually, that's before, then articulate it. And then the next step is stop. It's real easy to deflect, to say, oh, I know you're really busy. Don't bother. It's okay. I got this. Never mind. No. So make a request. Stop. It's so easy to keep going. No. Okay. The next step will surprise you. The next step is stay stopped. Yeah. Because even counting to 3 is not a long time, but it's so easy to just go on and think that person's not there for you. So you make the request, you stop, you stay stopped. Now, the 4th one is a little tricky to explain, but listen to it this way. If you've been someone who's been giving and helping and being of service, aware of what others need, imagine that's like a beam of energy going towards that person. Okay. Now, you can't receive if your energy is going out. So imagine the energy reverses and comes towards you. So the 4th step is shift the direction of that energy. I don't have a poetic way to say that, but really shift the direction of that energy so it comes towards you. Okay, that's 4. So you make the request, you stop, stay stopped, shift the direction of the energy. And I'm pointing to my heart center. It's really the place from which we receive. Receiving is a heartfelt thing, right? So 4th is like you let the energy come towards you. And then imagine you catching something. So the next step is shift the direction, catch the toss. Yeah, when you are receiving, imagine someone's tossing you a ball. You catch it. That is when you get to receive. So 5 steps. You have to ask yourself what you want. That's not a step yet. Okay. So you make the request. You can't just know it and not tell the other person, hoping they'll figure it out. They won't. And then you'll get resentful. How come you didn't know? Like, you didn't tell me. Well, you should know. Anyway, as entrepreneurs and leaders too, as leaders in our own lives, in whatever way that leadership is for you, it's so important to ask ourselves what we want and to make requests so other people can be there for us, to allow someone to be there for you. So you can feel so.
I love that direction change. That, I think, that's probably the most impactful, powerful part. Now you're directing it into, and then catch it, accept it. I love that. And just for everyone that is watching, when I was talking about taking notes and asking people to do that, I'm running the show and I'm doing that very thing. I got all 5 steps down. So cool. I hope you guys are taking notes as well. So it's one thing to learn, right, Andrea? It's one thing to learn when you're listening to things like this. And it's a very important thing to learn. The next most important thing to do is to put into action, and that's called do. Then to really integrate it at a deep level, you might know what this is going to be. That is teach. So learn it, do it to the point where you can teach it. And then when you teach it, you learn it at a much, much deeper level. And what Andrea was just talking about, you can go through that process and it will become automatic by then when you start to teach it. And so that's what Andrea does. She teaches it. So she's the person to go to learn all this, by the way. And we'll give you the opportunity to do that later. This show isn't about selling things, but when I see something that's impactful that can help people's lives, we have to talk about it. And it would be a disservice if we did not. And so, maybe that's a good time to segue to that, Andrea. I want to get into more about your business, what you do, like not your business, personal business, but your business, what you do, who's your target market? Is it individuals, corporations, couples? I mean, maybe all of the above. I know this is a multiple part question. And then if you have a case study or a success story, 1 or 2 that you'd like to share, a story, that would be phenomenal as well. And while you do that, I'll pull up your website so people can get a visual while you're doing that. If that's
so cool. The way I answer the first part of that question, who do I serve, is an answer that has evolved a lot over time. So for a while, it was people who, which we're not supposed to say in this industry, but people wanting a happier, more fulfilling life. And then it evolved to coaches and therapists. And now more recently, it's successful, conscious entrepreneurs who, in spite of their success, feel something's missing and they don't know what it is. What I do is I have a 3-step process that awakens that dream, because one of the challenges in these times is change. And right when change can't be easy. And when life happens, especially these days, we have to be able to change quickly. And people think that's difficult. And when you know how to make a change happen, change can be easy. And that's my expertise. And when you have that, people find their heart's desire, it motivates them, and they get engaged, they can choose, they make choices, they're not scattered, they know they got it, I got this, and they are able to manifest what their dream is.
I love that. And so what kind of folks are you involved with more often than not? Is it business, people that are in business, like entrepreneurs? Are they corporations? Are they wives or husbands? What has been your experience with folks?
It was individual clients who were, some were entrepreneurs, and then more and more they're entrepreneurs, leaders, and I am working with some teams as well. I did work with senior leaders in a global corporation, and also I work with other trainers for senior leaders. So senior leaders teams, I am doing that. There's a newer area for me. What I'm loving is it seems corporate is more interested in emotional intelligence these days. And things that used to be called woo-woo are seen as effective, and they work. Live the life you want. That's true. And, you mentioned earlier something about, personal life and business life. Who you are in any part of life is who you are in every part of life. So I believe emotional mastery is huge in being who we want to be as an entrepreneur. If you have a message, you have to own your message. You have to empower yourself with the power of your message. And people aren't comfortable with power, but it's not power over. It's how to use power well. In this program that we're looking at here is about the choice in your emotions, that you can choose to stand in your confident power. Is the power to be you, to be fully you. Part of this is managing conflict with ease. Part of this is respectful communication, where everyone is seen, heard, understood, evolving to your best and highest self no matter what, especially when someone or something pushes your buttons. You have a choice in how you respond, and I teach you how to have choice. Emotions are a language, vocabulary we're never really taught. The Enneagram, which is a personality system, which is what's coming up right now, actually, is a beautiful introduction to the language of emotion. And it's not the end all and be all of emotion, but once you know how to embody and choose this range of emotion, confidence, inner peace, striving for perfection, connecting easily with others, knowing your dream, going for your dream, emotional breadth and depth and loyalty and joy. These are elements of different personalities that you can embody all of that. And I created an emotional intelligence quiz, an EQ quiz, where you can see how much and how little you have in all of those areas I just mentioned. And when I see that, I can see what your zone of genius is, what your soul's calling is. So when you start to feel like, I know something's more to life, but it's like, I've got all the success. I thought I had it all. And I feel empty inside. And I'm in the dark. I need to know. And so we uncover that in my journey, in the journey with me. It's a journey to your life mastery.
Ooh, I love that. That sounds very appealing. It looks appealing. I know it is appealing because we have folks commenting. And one says, Helen's Light. She says, Andrea, your work sounds so helpful. And the best part, she also says, I would love to learn from you.
Cool. Thank
you.
So
we'll get that opportunity, Helen's Light. We are going to divulge. I forgot to mention that our own Andrea Isaacs has a gift of her own to give to each and every one of you. She kind of snuck the words in there during her little talk about what she does, and that's awesome. It's coming, and it's a free gift. It's highly valued, and I highly recommend you each take advantage of this when we bring it up. It'll be toward the end of the show, just so you know. Stay around to the end, because that gift plus a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. I got to get those plugs in. Got to get them in. Yes, good pointing. I love it. Yeah, and thank you, Helen and Jessica, for your commenting, your interacting. I love that. And you talk a lot about emotion, and I love that, because in neurolinguistic programming, I'm sure it's mentioned in other avenues as well. We go through a process where we learn about what emotions and how they play an important part in our decision-making process. And so there's an acronym called TBEAR, where T is everything we do. Everything we do or where we are has all started from our thoughts. Our thoughts are very, very powerful. And when you think something over and over and over again, those then turn into beliefs. And I am greatly simplifying this here. There's a lot more to explain. And then those beliefs, you become rooted and you become strong. And if someone challenges those beliefs, this is an example, then that evokes an emotion. In that case, a negative emotion. What we want to do is learn to evoke the positive emotions more often, because what happens after emotions take hold is we then take action. That's the A in TBEAR, on those emotions, and then those actions give us the results we have in our life. So if you are going through a historical pattern of negativity, always looking at the dark side of everything, then the results in your life are probably mirroring that. And it's as simple as Andrea is saying, is your choice. And she can help you to elicit and change your emotions for the better, to empower you for your life. Who wouldn't want that? Is there anybody not raising their hand? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, while you were talking, a client story came up in my mind about some of the old messages and about empowering. So she had an older brother who was bigger and older, a lot taller, and ran around, chased her, and it was not kind, and told her things like, you're wrong. Everything that goes wrong is your fault. And so she took it on as truth, right? As we do as young children, if we get that message. And the work we did together, there's a step between that thought that she had embodied. You could tell her as an adult, just don't think that thought, have a different thought, have a more positive thought. But sometimes a step is missing. When change is difficult, there's usually a step missing. Well, two. One of the steps missing is sometimes something has to heal first. Like maybe this is what we did in our work together. We healed that early wound where she was given a more empowering message. And it healed something that put that message, when that message was put there, it healed that. Like, no, you are wonderful. You're whole. I'm so glad you're here. You're special. I have time for you. What you want matters. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your ideas. I want to play with you. Uplifting messages, and to have that person receive it. So hearing a healing message often has to happen. And then another step that helps the healing happen sooner, quicker, longer, deeper, forever is when you embody that new feeling. I remember as a child, I was painfully shy. And my mother told me, I can't tell you how many times, oh, just be confident. Well, I wanted to be. I had the thought, I wanted that. And in my heart, I so wanted to be that. And I just didn't know how. I just knew how the neural pathway for being shy was really strong. So, many years later, that it shifted. It shifted because I embodied the confidence. There was another point. There was a second point I wanted to make. I'm losing my second point. Sorry.
No worries. We'll bring it back, and it'll come to you. It always does.
Yeah.
Always does. Let me know when it comes back.
Well, it is the embodiment piece, because I'm sorry. I knew it goes back to the three the decisions. You said something earlier about decisions. That's what, and the thoughts and the feelings. I wanted to respond to that. I have a process about decision making that when you're in alignment with what you think and you feel and you can embody, it's easier to make decisions that are aligned. Sometimes when we have big decisions, certain decisions we need to respond to with our thinking mind. Sometimes it's more of a feeling connection we want to respond to. And it's important to engage the body and to feel the energy of that, to feel like sometimes there's this feeling like, oh, it's like a gut in the stuff and the punch in the gut when that happened. Or that's a message that is important. And the body informs us about what we're feeling, how we're showing up. Somatic experience is what your body is experiencing in each moment. And if you like how everything's going, that's great. And if not, you can shift the energy in your body. What happened to this, my client, is we gave her the new message. And I said, how did it feel receiving that message? Now, this is different than my telling her, just believe in yourself or just be confident. We healed the message. And she said this: I'm empowered to empower. I empower. I'm friends with my power. I'm empowered. I'm friends with my power. We're friends. And she felt it in her body and created a neural pathway for being empowered and not being wrong or silly or stupid.
Love it. I love it. I love it. And we're getting more comments. Oh, I'm trying to find you had a breakdown. There it is, number 8. So I want to bring this up on the screen, and maybe you can address the young lady, Helen Lights. Let me bring her back up. She says she is a number 8.
Aha.
She is having trouble holding down the fire in her, and she works hard and has her whole life done that. I do Krav Maga and boxing, and that helps.
I thank you, Helen, for bringing that up. And I'm sure there has been an impact on your fire. Your fire is lust and it's life, and it's just being full and rich and big. And I bet you have heard the message that you're too much. And it's hard to hold it back because it's so big. Here's something that might be useful in shifting it. First of all, it's just getting in touch with the impact it has. If you don't like the impact it has on others, that's motivation for change. So just tap into that if you really want to change that impact you have on others. If not, then there's no reason for us to have this conversation, but I'm hearing that you want something to do about that. So just notice that. And then next is shift to imagine what you would prefer. Now, usually it's not that. And when I've had people who are ACE, or people who have, whether you know what that number means or not, if you've had a lot of anger or fire in you and you work hard, really hard, just in boxing, oh, that's interesting. Boxing is like a release of the energy, but it doesn't really turn it around. So turning it around might be something like this. Imagine, and I do work with the body, put both of your palms on your sternum, which represents your heart center. Maybe we could all do that. Let's all do that. And even just doing that, notice if there's a shift in your body. There was for me. There's a softening and a quieting. And when you're hurt or angry, this is a really good thing to do. Because if we're hurt or angry and we say nothing, that doesn't work. If we overdo it and we come across loud or harsh or too direct, that doesn't work. Do this first. And a mantra that I like that really helps to strengthen this neural pathway could be something like, I speak my truth gently. And feel the meaning of those words in your body. I speak my truth gently from my heart. And try that, Helens, and see what happens. Because I bet what happens next would be a little different.
Fantastic. She is appreciative. She says, yes, that's good. Thank you. All right. Deep breath and relax. Yes.
Sweet.
Wonderful. So listen, we're not just a live show. We're giving free coaching here. And that's the beautiful thing. That shows you the kind of heart Andrea has. You know, I have guest after guest after guest, successful entrepreneur after successful entrepreneur. And this is a common theme, is that like Andrea, they are not sitting here thinking, well, I'm not going to help this person because she's not paying me. She just said, well, she asked a question, so I'm going to help her right here, right now. And that's a serving heart. And you can tell she has that. There's no doubt in my mind that she loves helping people. It's not all about the money. I will point out, it is important for Andrea to make money. Very important. Why would I say that? Because the more money Andrea can make, the more she can scale her business and help and serve more people, because that's what she would do. So let's throw out those blessings to Andrea and say, become exceedingly wealthy beyond your wildest dreams so that you can go serve more people, you and your team. And so let's turn this whole wealth thing around on its head and say, stop beating people up that because they made money. Oftentimes they work their ever-living butts off to get there. And what I'm finding time and again of people I interview, Andrea, is they got there by a servant's attitude, a servant heart like you have. And so I just got on a soapbox again, but I wanted to get that in there. Oh, here we go. We got another one. Here we go. Jill Carroll. I am a 2 who learned to embody 8ness from Andrea. Oh, someone you know. She helped me empower myself with the power I didn't know I had. Ooh, I love it. A live testimonial. Here we go.
That lights me up, Jill. Oh my gosh, I feel it. Thank you,
Jill, for bringing that to light. And I love that when former or current clients come on of people that are on the show and show their love, because, you know, it's obvious you get results for the people that you work with, Andrea. And that is another reason we have you on this show. It's to show people the secrets of success. And also one of those secrets is to treat your business the way Andrea does. I hope you're all getting this. And that is to be of a servant heart and not always looking for the dollar return, because that will come. If you focus on helping people, if you focus on doing the right thing in that manner, the money will come, and it will come abundantly. You just have to stay the course and do your best to help people. That's my humble opinion. What do you feel about that, Andrea?
Well, I think I created this work to save my own butt, because I was, people who know the Enneagram, I am a 4. What that means is emotional, right? I can experience emotional highs and darkness. And there's also creativity to type 4. Let's see, what does it say? I can't read it, but anyway, it's all on that website. And I didn't know I had a choice. I thought I was a victim of my emotions, and I didn't like it. And what I learned in my first professional career as a professional dancer and choreographer, I learned how to have my dancers embody the emotions I wanted them to communicate on stage, so their performance was authentic and powerful. And that was my background when I came across this personality system called the Enneagram, which has a whole range. Each personality style has this whole range of emotion. Well, with my background as a choreographer who choreographed emotion and learning about this personality system, which is all about emotion, what they have in common is emotion. And I'd been a dancer for all those years. So I combined the two into a system that explores this whole range of emotion beautifully described by the Enneagram. And then I thought at first it was just about learning that system. So in an embodied way, because I think when we embody what we're learning, it's deep and lasting change, because it's bone deep learning. And so I combined the two into the system. And then this movement work became a doorway. It's no longer just about the Enneagram. It's about, how do I want to be? It doesn't have to be about a number anymore, but it gives us a vocabulary to work with. That I'm forgetting what your question was, but it gives us a vocabulary to work with so we can choose our emotions. I guess I'll wrap that one up.
Fantastic. Yeah. And, when it comes to business and building a business and thriving it and growing it, like we all want you to do, to serve more people. I mean, the comments are flying in. I can't keep up with them. I appreciate you all that are watching and engaging. Thank you so much. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, in business, we have a lot of moments of ups and downs. And in the beginning, for most people, it's a big struggle to get that point where you can become self-sufficient. If you have a job, maybe walk away from that job, or if you just need to make ends meet, it can be difficult because we're in a different frame of mind. And I'm just curious for you, now that you've been on the other side and you've reached that pinnacle of success at times, what would you say if you were to look back, and it might have been recent, it could be recent, it could have been some time ago, but for you personally, Andrea, what was your most satisfying moment in your business? If you can hold that moment up right now, what would you say that would be?
Because I come from a more spiritual and creative and arts background, I never believed my work would be accepted in a corporate setting. It was a limiting belief, but I thought, I don't know the language, I don't know the culture. They would never want someone like me. And so it didn't happen. What your brain takes the shape of what you rest your mind on. And so it never happened because I couldn't believe it could happen. And what I've learned is people are people. And they need this work. And as I have a biggest change in my business is how I believe in myself and the impact my work has on people. And as that evolved, then leaders started recognizing I need that. Or they have meetings where they're not communicating well, or there's a lack of clarity in communication, and for a variety of reasons. And I know they're people. They're people. So there was my phone rang one day. It was a caller ID from Brussels, and I thought Brussels is calling me, and so I took the call, and it was a headhunter from a global organization. They had companies in 135 countries, branches in 135 countries. Their senior leaders wanted exactly what I have and what I do: emotional intelligence, embodiment, the Enneagram, something called shadow work that I do. And they wanted exactly what I had to offer. And it just blew me away. And we had so much fun working together. Can I tell you a little story about that?
Please do.
Okay. So it's an innovative company. They're on the cutting edge of ergonomic office furniture when it first started happening. And they continue to innovate. And I have to shift in my chair because I'm going to embody this. So the company is known for innovation. And the results of the people on this team, every one of them had the innovator scores and the creative scores and the thinking outside the box, outside the scores. And even though they'd done a lot and made new furniture and so on, the team knew that there was more they could do, and they were gathering ideas and not taking action. And so when I looked at their scores, each one of them not only had the innovator score, they all had the scattered whammy. A scattered whammy is too much of a good thing. So as innovators, they're all idea generating and brainstorming. We could do this and all these options and possibilities. And it's great. But they had the scattered whammy, meaning they weren't choosing. So as we looked at each individual's chart, each person on that chart had the scattered whammy. And with the scattered whammy, there's an outcome, which is you don't know what to focus on. So you don't focus on any of them. And there's an outcome to that, which is the achiever whammy was whammied because they weren't achieving what they wanted to achieve, or as much as or as quickly as they wanted. So they knew by now that I'm about embodiment and shifting these patterns we don't like into patterns that allow us to be who we want to be. And so we get up out of our chairs, of course. And this one woman said, well, I want to keep collecting the ideas and get my arms around everything, because I don't want to not choose something that might be even better. I want my arms around it. So we did that. We all did that together. We got up and went arms around it. Well, then obviously we have to make that decision. Okay, so then we'll focus. So we did arms around it and we focused. Well, what happens next? Well, after you focus, you got to take action, right? So they all started walking around the room like this. And it became arms around it. And we focused, step, step, step. And then they knew that when they did that, they'd get it done. And what came next was, and we achieve. So then we had arms around it and we focus, step, 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 and we achieve. And then we were going around the room, around in circles. And yeah, and they started deciding, moving forward, making progress. Next idea, deciding, moving forward, getting it done. And then they were, their pace picked up quite a bit.
Fantastic. Yeah. And we're seeing some additional comments here. I'll pull it up in just a moment here. Well, there's somebody we both know, I think. Her name is Allison Stillman. So many beautiful shares. Yes, Allison, thank you for coming on. She's a former guest, a past guest of the Mind Body Business Show. Amazing woman in her own right. And yes, I have the essential oil diffuser running every 20 minutes in length only, and then an hour off. So I took your advice. Thank you for that. She is an amazing woman. And then Jill Carroll says, my son introduced the Enneagram to his coworkers, and now they are doing great team building with it. So making impact big time. I love it. I love it. And I love stories. Stories are what make things go. This is true whether you're speaking from stage, whether you're on a show, whether you're writing a book. A lot of people concentrate on the content, the value. But if they keep out the stories, and people just say, I don't want to listen anymore. And that's why we have everybody hanging on, watching you, Andrea, because of your wonderful stories. You're keeping it intriguing, interesting. And imagine what it would be like to work with someone like Andrea. Oh, yeah. There's going to be an opportunity for that. We're not here to sell you anything, but you will be able to connect with her and collect a free gift from her. And that's coming up actually pretty soon. I just looked at the time. I was like, oh, my gosh, we're getting near the end. There is another question I was very, very curious to ask you, Andrea, because of all the emotions, there are 5 major negative emotions we are taught in NLP, and that's hurt, anger, fear, sadness, guilt. And of those, the most powerful in the way of keeping us from reaching our goals, reaching our desires, it causes resistance and hesitation, is the emotion of fear. And we're not talking the fight or flight fear, like if you have a lion running at you, you need to run. It's the fear of smaller things. It's the fear sometimes of success itself. It's the fear of failure. It's the fear of little things that just keep the fear of rejection in sales that keep us from moving forward. And for you, in your life, what would you say had been your greatest fear? And then how did you manage that and or overcome it?
Ooh. My greatest fear. I know, to say this in a public setting like this. Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, well, I would be a bag lady, or I'd die of debt in a debtor's prison. It really came from the feeling that I've not believing in myself and not having the confidence to really take a stand for who I am and what my gift is. And it was a journey. It's a journey that I teach others now. It's a journey that was terribly painful until I knew how to shift it. And it was in the embodiment work. And well, I can actually tell you the biggest moment of shift. So I told you about how I created this work. I put together my work with my dance choreography background and the Enneagram. And I knew enough about I had done some pre-med anatomy, and I knew about neural pathways. I knew we were creating and training these neural pathways. And so we were doing the exercise for one of these Enneagram types, a type that is naturally confident, which had been elusive to me. I just, it's that thing my mother told me to be and do, and I couldn't. But you know what? Every emotion has a dark side. I'm looking at the clock. I'm going to do this quickly. It has a dark side, which is anger. And I hated anger. I just wouldn't go there and wouldn't be that, which just allowed me to be confident. And what happened for me is I was able to, in a ritual container, no real life consequences, get my anger out and yell and scream. And I thought the cells of my body would explode. And then I learned anger is just energy, and I could choose what I do with it. I don't have to use it for wrong or bad. I can use it to hold my ground and not run away and hide and be shy. I can use that energy to just put both feet down and say, I belong. I am here. I'm worth it. Or whatever that painful message needed to hear and heal. I mentioned earlier that the healing has to happen before the change can really take place. So when that message was healed and I could feel that energy in my body, confidence became a part of who I was. I didn't have to try to be confident. And that was a huge shift. And you can't have a business, you won't get clients if you don't believe in yourself. I believe in myself as a mantra and a mudra I did for a long, long time because I wasn't quite sure. So I did it with this embodiment work. And it is why I know that you can choose your emotions. And that's the name of the program, the choice program.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of fear is confidence, right? And it's like full embodiment of confidence. You said that word, and it's a very powerful word. And I've heard it so many times that especially from entrepreneurs and business associates, is that one of the main reasons they lack success is oftentimes they lack confidence in what they're doing and the results they're getting for other people. Have you ever addressed that?
I think there are a lot of flavors of fear.
Yeah.
When I look at the Enneagram, which is the basic vocabulary of emotion, type 1 would be afraid I'm wrong. Type 2 would be afraid there's no place for me here. 3 would be afraid you'll see me as a failure. 4 would be afraid I'm not enough. 5 would be afraid I don't know enough. 6 is afraid it's because I don't trust you. 7 is afraid because you're going to take away my options. 8s are afraid and they just get angry. So we all have different ways of fear, 9 flavors of fear that stop us. Yeah. Which goes back to mindset.
That's why such a powerful negative emotion. And I'm glad your work is addressing those.
It's mindset, healing the heart, and embodying the change you want. They all have to come together.
That's what sets you apart from the past folks that I've dealt with. I'm not the end all, be all, know all, but embodying it. That's one piece that I rarely hear as being the added piece, embodying it, like you were talking about with putting your hands up. I felt it. I was doing this off camera. I was like, oh, it actually feels nice right now. It's calming me down. It's wonderful how, the mind and body, I say, are a team. And more importantly, they're your team. And the more you take care of each and address each and utilize their sheer power that Andrea can elicit for you, then the better your life will be. Is that a good way of kind of summarizing it?
Yeah, well, I would call it, it's wholeness, and it's what I call internal integrity. You have a mind, you have a heart, you have a body. And I like when I'm as equally aware as possible of all three, because I believe that is wholeness. And I liked the word integrity because the root of the word integrity is integer, which is a whole number, like the number 1. So when I have my thoughts, my feelings, my body, like physically aligned and energetically aligned, and then I ask myself a decision, for instance, there's a whole body yes or no. And it's empowering to be who you're wanting to be, and in building your business and having your life the way you want it.
I love it. So there's going to be one more question I'm going to ask you, because I end every show with it. And it's a powerful question. It's a profound question, not because of the question, but because of the answer that will come from you. I love it. I can't wait. Before we do that, I did promise everyone who stayed on till the end, and my goodness, everybody stayed on. This is phenomenal. And that's a testament to you, Andrea, and what you do and how you impact people. But I want to let everybody know how they can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Again, compliments of the biginsidersecrets.com. Jason asked, my buddy, get out a pen and paper and write this down, and then you can enter to win right after we close the show, because I don't want you to miss Andrea's profound answer. And we have a gift from Andrea as well. So we're going to do 2 gifts here real quick. Here we go. I'm going to put it up on the screen and write this down. What you'll want to do is go to this web address. It is ryp.im/vacation, all lowercase. One more time, that's ryp.im/vacation. Write that down. And then right after the show's over, race over there, enter your information to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. These are actual bona fide vacation stays. These are amazing. You do not want to not enter. A double negative there. And then we have a wonderful gift by the amazing Andrea Isaacs. I'm going to pull that up on the screen so that Andrea can see what we're talking about. I know she knows what it is, but it's the Emotional Mastery Toolkit. So if you want to give that a quick explanation, I'll put it up on the screen as well, and let people know how they can get to that. So go ahead, Andrea.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this is the Emotional Mastery Toolkit. What this is, let's scroll down. You start, the toolkit starts with you're taking the EQ quiz. And the EQ quiz has you reflect on 18 dimensions of your emotion. 18 dimensions of emotion. You can stay at the top, actually. It's more, you can't read that text anyway. You can go back to the image. Thank you. Yeah. So the first step is taking the quiz. And then you get your Emotional Mastery Blueprint, which is a pie chart of your results. It shows your gifts and your strengths in all areas, which point to your zone of genius, to your soul's longing. And it also shows your challenges in each area, which could be none, which is fabulous, or maybe there's some whammies there. So you get your blueprint. You get an interpretation guide, which is an illustrated interpretation of a generic quiz results. You get a sense of how it's interpreted. And then there's a little video clip. It's a 4-minute clip on how the scores combine to impact each other. Because even though this is a personality system, it's not, in my opinion, in my approach, it's not just about what your type is. It's how all of the pieces of the puzzle of you make you, they all impact each other, and they impact you to either lift you up and empower you, or to give you the same kinds of challenges over and over again. So I can see that when I see your blueprint. And then there's what I call the whammies webinar in your toolkit. The whammies webinar is when I talk about how these different challenges impact each other and impact you. So your toolkit includes those things: the quiz, the blueprint, the interpretation guide, the video, and the whammies webinar. And then you are invited to a call with me. And I would love to talk to you about what could be next, because there are so many ways to expedite change so that you can navigate challenging times, which we all have to be able to figure out. And the sooner, more quickly we can move with the change, more peaceful about all of this we can be.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. It's a valued at $500. I can tell that a lot of work went into this. And that website, again, I'll say this audibly for our podcast listening friends. The web address is Andrea Isaacs.com/EQ toolkit altogether. I'm going to spell that all out for you now. That's ANDREA-ISAACS.com. I know I said I was going to spell it out /EQ toolkit. Just be sure that the last word EQ toolkit is all lowercase when you type that into the browser, and go ahead and take her up on this amazing, beautiful offer, and definitely have that follow-up phone call with her so you can take your life, your results to the next level. This is an amazing woman who's offering an amazing gift, and we cannot thank her enough for it. Thank you so much, Andrea. Very wonderful of you to do this. And definitely, everyone, take advantage of this. Do it now. No, write it down and do it right after we're done, because we got that wonderful question. Don't do it now. I take it back. Hang with us for just a moment longer. So, Andrea, I mentioned we're going a little over time, and I hope that's okay with you. We're just about to wrap it up, but this is a crescendo. This is an amazing way to end the show. It's due to that one question I like to end the show with.
Okay.
The cool thing is there's no such thing as a wrong answer to this question. It does not exist. It's in fact just the opposite. The only correct answer is yours, and that's because it's unique to you. I've asked this question many times, and the answers have been very interesting, sometimes shocking, always profound. But the cool thing is, it's whatever answer is yours, it's the right answer because it's yours. It doesn't matter what it is. So there's absolutely no intrepidation going on here, or trepidation, I think that's the right word. But with that, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Andrea Isaacs, how do you define success?
The first was a feeling in my body, which I will capture with the word wholeness. It was a feeling of being whole, fully connected, to myself, my thoughts, my feelings, my body, connected to my place, wherever it is I am. And knowing in being connected to my wholeness, I'm living my life in a way that reflects wholeness and integrity, and doing my best to be my best and highest self, no matter what. And I've guided others to be their best and highest self, no matter what, so that we can have quality, respectful communication. And I made a difference in having greater peace on earth. That would feel like success.
Wonderful, wonderful, as are you, Andrea Isaacs. I appreciate you for coming on the show. You've been an absolute gem. I look forward to this relationship going farther than just here on the show tonight. And I'm talking about you and I, as far as our friendship, maybe business relationship. It depends. I'm open to everything and anything because I love what I get to do, and I love to meet wonderful, amazing, intelligent, and successful people as yourself. And I cannot wait to hear about all these people that reached out to you that said, I want that quiz and I want to get in contact with Andrea, because here's the bottom line for everyone. And we'll leave this as kind of a parting thought. When it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how you get there. It does with integrity and character, of course, but the steps that are involved to get to the result you're looking for really don't matter as long as the results are what you're looking for. So as long as it's with integrity and character along the way, then all you need to do is find somebody like Andrea who can just simply take you and guide you gently and wonderfully down the path to where you get the results you're looking for. All you have to do is know that she can do that for you and the results will come. Then that takes the resistance away and you can just say, yeah, I want to work with Andrea. And that would be phenomenal. So go ahead, reach out to her through that website we talked about earlier and get that quiz. I think you can reach it from her homepage as well.
Yes.
And just do that, go through the process, reach out to her, get that call. Look, people, I got to tell you, respect her time. She's doing this for free. She's not charging a dime. It is her time and it's very valuable, as is yours. But please be respectful and know that she is an expert in this field, and treat her with that kind of respect when she gives you the advice that she's going to give you that will just only change your life forever for the better. That's all it's going to do. But please be sure to take her up on her wonderful offer. And that's it. Andrea, any last parting words of wisdom real quick before we say goodnight to the great folks out there?
I want to say what a delightful host you are. Thank you so much. And I look forward to playing in the playground with you and to just explore whatever might happen there. And I want people to know that to believe in yourself, you've got it, you know enough, you are enough. Just go out and be it now. And change can be easy.
Everyone needs an Andrea Isaacs in their corner. Not kidding. Thank you so much, Andrea. On behalf of the amazing Andrea Isaacs, I am your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We'll be back again next week with another phenomenal show, another phenomenal guest. But for now, it's all Andrea. She's amazing. We'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. So long. Be blessed. Take care now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.